Hello, and today we're on the second step of how to overcome grief, which is going to be about sharing this grief. Last week we spoke about acknowledging grief as the first step in dealing with our emotions and thoughts during times of trauma, which has been particularly significant over the last 2 weeks or so with the sad passing of Queen Elizabeth II. I'd like to start off with a question. What do you think is one of the biggest problems for people during times when someone is grieving? Yes, it's not knowing what to say to that person to make them feel better. Because that's what we want to do, isn't it? With this huge sense of wanting to help and try and give them comfort. But unless we have a lot of personal or professional experience in this type of thing, we can say silly or thoughtless or even inappropriate things whilst someone is pouring their hearts out to us, or possibly not even saying anything at all, but we sense that they're very upset. And it's us that feels uncomfortable. And for the person who's grieving at times, they often find themselves intentionally self-isolating. They may do this for a number of reasons, such as the fear of breaking down in public, or the sense that others don't really understand. But here's the thing. What's been one of the main things that have come out over the last 2 weeks? Well, for me, it's been the overwhelming need and comfort of a lot of people spontaneously sharing their grief and upset, not only with family and friends, but also with complete strangers. There's been a bonding of people, no matter for how long. People have been sharing their memories and their stories, not only about the times when they were fortunate enough to have met the Queen, but also how much she meant to them and their other family members. Everyone has been speaking about their feelings, about what she's done for them or the nation, discussing all her positive achievements and how she lived her life. And people have been listening and enjoying each other's memories and stories. And this kinship in grief elevates people because we know that in sharing our experiences in grief, we're helping each other as well as celebrating the person we're mourning. So, what do we get from this? Sharing grief is a two-way process, isn't it? Just like reaching out and asking for help for any trauma or problem we're having. Talking about our problems not only helps us offload our thoughts and feelings, but also it helps us to open up in finding ways to deal with what can sometimes seem overpowering emotions and beliefs. And sharing our grief or problems with others who have experienced similar losses or problems can help us feel less alone in our pain, as opposed to if we self-isolate because we don't think anyone will understand us. By listening and sharing stories with others, even when we don't feel able to talk about our loss or trauma, and simply being around other people who care about us, it can provide comfort and can help ease the burden of what we're experiencing. And then we turn our pain and negative thoughts into positive feelings. And what we're not managing well turns into a celebration because we're not just thinking about ourselves, but also helping others, which can also be an important step on the road to healing. I found this very difficult, exceptionally difficult in fact, like a lot of people. Not only did I live in denial about my problems for over 40 years, but I wouldn't even recognise them. I wouldn't accept them or even admit to them. I didn't think anyone would understand. Even if I acknowledged them, I thought I was far too clever and I'd sort my problems out for myself. Although, of course, I didn't. I wasn't going to let people know that I had an eating disorder. I wasn't going to go public about my alcoholism. I wasn't going to concede to the fact that I had mental ill health. God, no. And so I sank deeper and deeper into myself and depression for over 40 years. It wasn't until I was in so much despair and seriously thought about suicide that I did reach out for help. And I've been sober with a strong network of support for over 12 years now. You know, one of the best tools I learned was the ability to be honest and unafraid of talking. That not only freed me from my own constraints of fear and what other people would think of me, but provided me with self-loving reconciliation. And I haven't looked back since. So next week, we'll be discussing the third step in overcoming grief. And if you can relate to any of this, just click on the like button below. Private message us if you want to talk about anything in strict confidence, or write a comment, which will be very appreciated. And if you're watching our slightly longer version of this video on our YouTube TV channel, Mr. and Mrs. Know-How, hit that subscribe button for free and be part of our community. And do remember, if you want to learn now, we'll show you how. From us to you. Bye-bye for now.